Okay folks, in this video we will be covering how to work with video clips, files, video files, and how to incorporate those files into your composition. We're going to start off pretty easy. After launching After Effects, for this particular video, if you folks would like to follow along, folks can go over to the class website, scroll down to the download section, and click on AE exercise files 1.zip. Okay, now all of the exercise files that I'll be using over the course of the tutorials are included in this file. It's pretty big, almost 200 megabytes, so it may take you folks a few minutes to download, but it has everything in there that you folks will need if you folks want to follow along with your own After Effects. Okay, so what I'm going to do to demonstrate working with video clips in After Effects is I'm going to use a couple of the video files. What I'm going to do in this situation is to use the new composition from footage button. Click on that. Make sure you're in the AE exercise files folder, and I'm going to import the jump slow-mo video. Click open. So by using that option that we just used, set up a composition using the size of the video button. What After Effects does is, depending on the size of your video, After Effects will set the parameters for your composition according to the resolution or size of your video. Now, because we already have a preset video file that you folks can download here from the class website, this won't exactly count, but I just wanted to demonstrate that to you folks. In any case, so that's one way you can bring in a video file. Of course, it is listed here in the assets area with a little thumbnail of the video as well as the description. Okay, now another way to bring in video files is you can go file, import, and then file again, or you can just drag and drop files into the asset area. In our case, if you wanted to bring in, say, the fireworks.mp4 video, you could just do that and add that in. Now, adding a file to the asset area doesn't automatically create a layer for that file. You have to manually drag the file from your assets area down into the layer area. But for now, we'll just work with the jump slow-mo video. Okay, and as I've mentioned before in previous videos, you can change the size of the video or the zoom by clicking on this drop down menu here. You have a whole wide variety of different sizes you folks can choose from half the size of the original to twice the size of the original. You can also fit it to the work area, and you can fit up to 200%. Let's just go with the regular size for now. There's a whole bunch of other controls here, but for the most part, all you folks have to do is just work. I mean, if anything, just worry about this control for now. You folks can also zoom in and out, but if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out of your video, and as you scroll, the zoom percentage changes accordingly. Okay. Now here we have the jump slow-mo video, this video, and in order to play or pause the video, you simply hit the space button, space bar on your keyboard. Okay, so I just hit the space bar, and as you can see, the video is playing. You hit the space bar again, video pauses. In order to rewind, you folks can come up over here to the preview panel. Now if you folks don't have the preview panel here, you folks can come up to window and click on preview, and you'll get the preview panel up here. Okay, so if you folks want to rewind the preview panel, you can go back one frame or all the way back to the beginning. And likewise, if you want to fast forward, you can fast forward one frame or fast forward all the way to the end. Okay, so we're going to rewind that. So that's pretty much the playback controls for playing your video. Or you can manually grab the timeline indicator here, or yeah, timeline indicator, that's what I call it at least, and you can do what is called scrubbing. Scrubbing is grabbing this I guess you could say lever or line, and left mouse click, hold down the left mouse button and drag this indicator along the timeline. Now as you can see by the video, you can rewind and fast forward as you scrub or move this. Now in order to do that, you have to constantly hold down the left mouse button. Once you let go of the left mouse button, it stops, of course. So make sure, if you want to scrub the timeline indicator back and forth throughout the timeline, you left mouse click on the handle here, and you hold down the left mouse button as you drag your mouse to the left or to the right. All right. I'll show you a little bit later how you can, as you're scrubbing, you can snap this line to the edge of a video. Or actually, I can show you that now. Say we have a shorter length video here, and this is the edge of the video. If you wanted to snap this indicator line to the edge of the video, all you gotta do is hold down your shift key, and as you get close to the edge of the video, if you hold down the shift key, you notice how it snaps. Okay, so holding down the shift key will snap items in After Effects. By the way, if you want to only use a portion of the video instead of the entire video, what you just saw me do just now right here is shorten the length of the video. So say, for example, if I only wanted the portion of the video that starts, say, maybe like from the 12-second mark here, so like from here to the point where the guy lands, which is right about, let's go up to 18, so that's about 6 seconds from the 12-second mark to the 18-second mark. Say I just wanted to use that portion of the video and I didn't want any of the video before or after that. In order to just use that portion of the video, what you can do is, you notice as I move my cursor to the edge of this layer line for the jump slow-mo video, it turns to a double-sided arrow. If you left mouse click and hold down the left mouse button and drag, you can shorten the video. Now if I bring my timeline indicator back, you notice it turns black. That's because we basically shortened the video. You notice once we pass this mark right here, the video will pop back on. Okay, so if you don't want to use all of the video before a certain point, instead of, you can crop it down, basically, is what I'm saying. So in order to crop it down to the exact point I want, what I'll do is I'll bring the timeline indicator up to the 12-second mark. And let's see, around there. And I'll drag the edge of the video. And remember, holding down the shift key, even in this situation, will snap the edge of this line up to where the blue line for the timeline indicator is. So I'm going to hold down shift right now, and as I drag, it snaps. Okay, so now we are more or less at the 12-second mark. Might be a little bit off, but right about there. And if we wanted to come up to the 18-second mark, we can place our time indicator right about there. And on this side, left mouse click and drag to shorten the video here. Now I'm going to hold down the shift key and snap the video. So now, as you can see, because there's no video present in this area, it remains black until we get to this point. And once we hit that last part, it'll go black once more. Now this grayed out area where the video used to be, it shows the actual length of the original video, which is just a little over 24 seconds. Okay, and if you folks feel that you want to add back on a portion of the video that you cropped off, all you have to do is grab the edge and move it back out again, and you get whatever video was missing. But what you cannot do is, let me get that back. Okay, what you cannot do is crop out certain areas of the video, meaning that, say if you liked the video from, I don't know, from the beginning to the 8-second mark, but you didn't, you don't want the video from the 8-second to the 12-second mark. And once again, you want to keep the video from the 20-second mark to the end. You can't crop out from 8 to 12 seconds. You understand? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, folks. So if you want to keep the portion of the video up to 8 seconds and don't want this portion to show, you can't do that. You have to have one continuous video, I guess you could say. The way to get around this, okay, is to drag another instance or a copy of the jump slow-mo video and add it to your timeline there. You notice I have a copy, so I could basically rename this. So if I double click or right click, let's see here, you can rename. If you right click on a title, you can rename, or you can just, hold on, yeah, you have to right click, click rename, and you could go type in a description. So I'll use JS for jump slow-mo underscore 10 to 18 seconds. At least that gives me a sort of a indicator of what that portion is, right? And say if I wanted this portion to be just 0 to 8 seconds, I could right click, rename, start to 8 seconds. Okay, And what I'll do is bring my timeline indicator down here to the 18-second mark, grab the edge and move that down here. Hold down shift to snap. So this is a way of getting around wanting to crop out the 12-second mark. Now on both layers I don't have any video in between here, so it'll black out. So if I scrub through, you see the video at the 8-second mark goes black, pops back on, like so, and back off again. Okay, folks? So that's how you can get around not being able to edit one layer of video. So you folks get the drift. Now what if I wanted to line up, say this is a different video. Oh, in fact, let me bring in the fireworks video. So you can add as much layers as you folks want, by the way. Okay. Now, watch what happens when I get to the portion where there's no video on this layer or this layer. You'll see the fireworks video pop through there. And then once it hits the 12-second mark, there is a video over the fireworks video, because remember, the highest level, or the highest layer, the topmost layer, will always be shown first. So because there's something here on the topmost layer, it'll automatically cover the fireworks layer. There you go. But once we get to the 18-second mark and the top layer is no longer there, fireworks comes back. So I hope you folks can see that now. Now what if I wanted to shorten this fireworks layer so that it neatly sandwiches between these two layers? I can shorten the video clip. As you can see, the entire video clip for the fireworks video is roughly just shy of 19 seconds over here. So if I wanted to neatly fit the video between these two segments, what I can do is move my time slider, hold down the shift key, and snap this line to the edge of this second layer here. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll grab the edge of this video and slide it, and as I get close to the blue timeline indicator line, I'll hold down shift again, snap that video there. Now I'll move the timeline indicator, hold down shift, and snap it to the edge of this line. Now I'm going to grab the edge of this video, the fireworks video, and as I get close to the blue line, hold down the shift key and it'll snap. Now I have a perfectly edited fireworks video that syncs in line with the edges of both videos, so it'll pretty much play smoothly like so. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and let's see here. Well, for now, we can ignore the fireworks video. Excuse me. And what I will do, by the way, if you want to delete a layer or a video, say if I wanted to delete this layer here, the fireworks layer, all you gotta do is highlight it by clicking on it. and then hit delete. For you guys on the Windows keyboards, that would be backspace. Okay. Now, if you want to delete anything in the assets area, like the fireworks video, you could drag it down to the trash can down here. Okay, so let's get rid of this right here and just work with our original video. Let me stretch the video back out. All right. So if you come to the left of the layer area for our timeline, you notice there's a sound icon. Videos that have sound with them, you can mute the sound by turning off the icon there. That way just the video will play. Now if you turn off the eyeball, that's the visibility, but you leave the sound on, you'll just hear the sound. This video, it shows that it has a sound file, but I don't hear any sound, so I don't believe it does have a sound file. But you can turn visibility off. If you just wanted the sound file or the sound from the video but not see the video, you could turn off the visibility of the video and just have the sound playing as the video played. Okay. You can also lock the layer. By locking the layer, you can't do anything. You can't select the video. You can't edit the video. You can move the timeline and the video will play normally. But as far as trying to manipulate the video by clicking on it or trying to move the video, you can't do that. All right. Okay, so I've already shown you folks how to rename the layer. I'm going to talk about this just in a few more moments, some of these items here. First of all, there's a item here, the arrow. If you click on the arrow, you get a drop down menu for two items, transform and audio. Now if you click on this arrow next to transform, you have a whole bunch of controls here that you can use to manipulate the video. The ones that we want to pay attention to would be these four down here. You don't really use anchor point too much. Some situations you do, but for the most part, for what you folks are probably going to be doing, all you folks really need to pay attention to is position, scale, rotation, and opacity. And rotation, you folks will probably hardly ever use this unless you want your video to be spinning the whole time it's playing, and not too much people do that. So you could even say that besides anchor point, you hardly use rotation. For the most part, people just use position, scale, and opacity. Okay, so let's take a look at position first. So position right now, this is the default position, and if I zoom out, I'm going to zoom out by half. All right. If you take a look here, you notice my selection tool is active, the arrow pointer. I can actually grab this video and move it around. You notice as I grab it, it has the selection handles on the edge. I can use that to resize the video. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that, Control Z. Take notice of the scale. Right now it's 100, meaning it's at 100% normal size. Watch what happens when I grab the corner handle here and stretch it out. Watch what happens here. As you can see, the scale starts moving up and down. Now I can resize the video any way I want to. Okay. Now, if I want to constrain the video, meaning keep it at its original dimensions, but make it larger. So in other words, instead of having the video squish like this or like that, I want to keep it at its original dimensions. I hold down the shift key like so, and it keeps its original dimensions but just gets bigger. Okay, so the ratio 3 to 4 or whatever it's called, 4 to 3, stays the same if I keep holding down the shift key and dragging on this left handle. It doesn't deform like now without me holding the shift key down. It's able to deform it. Yeah, so keep holding down the shift key and you can resize the video. This is almost like zooming in and out as well. All right, now if you ever forget, I guess you could say, what the original dimensions are, you can always right click and from the drop down menu choose reset, and it'll reset the dimensions back to normal. Now for position, you notice the video is off. If you click on position and right click, you can also click reset and it'll reset it back to the starting point. Now you folks may be wondering why, what's the deal with all of these? Why would I want to move the video? Well, sometimes you have videos that are moving across the screen. Not only do you see motion in a video, but the video itself is moving. To give you an example, I'll move this video off to the side, and while holding down the left mouse button, I'll click anywhere on the video except the center. I'll click on the video, hold down the shift key, and move it off to the side here. Holding down the shift key locks it so that I can't move it up or down. I just can move it left to right. Now, if I were to move the video up or down while holding the shift key, it'll lock the video so I cannot move it left to right. Okay. So I'm going to move it off to the side here. I know that the video is right here because I can see the outline of the video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set what is called a keyframe. Now, a keyframe is a marker that tells the computer or After Effects that in this case the position of the video should be here at the start of the video. When I hit the spacebar to start the video, the position of the video here should be here. So what you're going to do is hit the stopwatch there, and you notice After Effects, let me undo that. I'm going to hit Command Z. Watch this marker here. I'm going to click on a stopwatch, and you're going to see a little diamond there. That's called a keyframe. That's telling After Effects, I want this video to be right here when the video starts. Now, depending on how long you want it to take, you want the video clip to take to go across the screen, say over to this side, determines how fast or slow the video moves. So say for example, I want the video to travel across the viewing area here and end up off screen but on this side, and I want it to take 4 seconds to do that. What I'll do is I move my marker, timeline marker, to the 4-second mark right there. Now I'll grab the video, click anywhere on the inside here, hold on my shift key and slide the video across to this side all the way off the screen and let go. What that it does is it does two things. First, After Effects automatically adds a second keyframe for you. And secondly, After Effects gives you sort of like I would say a guideline to show you the path at which the video will travel, which is basically a straight line across. So now, if I hit the space bar, there you go. So basically what you did was just move the video across the viewable area. Now, that was pretty fast. You didn't really see much, right? So you got to play with timing here. The more time you give After Effects to move this video across, so instead of 4 seconds, let's say we went to 8 seconds instead, it'll slow down the video a lot more. And let me show that to you now. So I'm going to move my timeline over to the 8-second mark. Okay, and what I could do is one of two things. I can either move this I can move this over to the 8-second mark, or I can redo it again. Okay, so if you want to move this over to the 8-second mark, you just left mouse click and drag, and when you get close to the timeline, the blue timeline, you hold on shift and it snaps. Right? Keyframe. Oh, yeah, I had a brain fart there for just a second. Sorry, folks. Keyframes. Okay. Anyway, so let me hit. Now it's the video. Instead of taking 4 seconds to go all the way across to the other side, like it originally did, now it's going to take twice as long, 8 seconds. And you'll notice how the video slows down. So if I hit the space bar now, and of course the video will keep playing all the way to the end and loop back around again. Just hit spacebar to stop. Okay, so I just showed you how to move keyframes. Now, if you wanted, instead of moving the keyframe, if you just wanted, let me do Command Z here. So instead of moving the keyframe to the 8-second mark, say if you just wanted to do it all over again, what you could do is delete that keyframe. Just click on it and then hit the delete key, and that's gone. And what you can do instead is bring your time slider indicator line to the 8-second mark and move the video once more. So I'm going to click here on the video, hold down the shift key to make sure it doesn't go up or down, and just go all the way to the other side. I could keep going forever if I wanted to, but I just want to come over here, let go, and After Effects will automatically insert a keyframe for you. Alright, so that's how you take care of position. Now, you're not just restricted to linear movements like this. Let me go ahead and Command Z to undo all that. You could go diagonally if you wanted to. So if I started here, I could add a keyframe by clicking on the stopwatch. You can always add keyframes by well, the initial keyframe, you gotta use this, the stopwatch button. But to add subsequent or additional keyframes, you could click on this diamond here. So what if we wanted the video to go up this way and make have it done in 6 seconds? So you slide the indicator line. By the way, this little opening notch here is to let you see where this white line for the 6-second mark is. So if you slide this and you see the white line appear, that's how you know you're on a 6-second mark. So if I move the video now, and remember we have this line right here that shows you the path of the video. So if you're worried about, the video going off like so, just follow the guideline and make sure you line up like so. Let go of the video. After Effects automatically sets a keyframe. Go back. And now if you hit the spacebar, you see the video go up like that. So that's how you create motion in After Effects with video. So that's for position. Of course, if you folks knew the coordinates by number, you can always use this here. Let me hit Command Z. If you hover over the numbers, you'll notice that the cursor changes to the finger with the double-sided arrow. If you hold down the left mouse button, you can scrub left to right, and the video will move accordingly for any of these numbers. And if you ever want to recenter or reset, remember you can just right click on whatever parameter it is and go hit reset. Now for scale, say if you wanted it to zoom in or out, that's what scale does. Okay, so how would we keyframe scale? Well, what we could do is either start from the original size, hit the keyframe button. You notice that the keyframe on this layer, on the scale layer, has been set. And let's say we wanted to take 6 seconds, and in that 6 seconds we want the video to scale or zoom in like so. Now I'm going to hold down the shift key to make sure the proportions are locked, and let's scale it up to this size. As soon as I let go of the left mouse button, as you can see here, After Effects added another keyframe. Right, so let's go back to the beginning and hit the spacebar button and watch what happens. Okay, so that's scale for you. I'm gonna hit the spacebar to stop. Let's I just undid everything, and let's see it from the other way, where you start off with the video big and it zooms in. So what I'm going to do is grab one of the edges here, and I'm going to drag the video. I'm going to hold down the shift key so it locks the proportions down. I'm going to drag it out to about here, and I'm going to hit the stopwatch. So what I want you folks to remember is that before you hit the stopwatch to put down your first keyframe, I keep forgetting that word, keyframe, before you set your first keyframe, do the action first. So if you remember my position, if you remember the position attribute, I moved the video off to the side first because I wanted it to come from off screen and travel across. I did that. I moved the video first, then I clicked on the stopwatch. In this case, I want the video to start off zoomed out and then slowly zoom in, I guess you could say. So what I did was I resized the video first, then I hit the stopwatch to set my keyframe. Don't hit the keyframe first and then, resize your video. Resize your video first, lay down the keyframe to tell After Effects this is the initial state I want my video to be in at the start of the video. Now, in 6 seconds, I want the video to resize back to its normal size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here, right click, and well, first you got to move your timeline. So I moved it to the 6 second mark. Now I'm going to come back to the scale attribute, right click on it and click reset so that it's normal size. And After Effects added that second keyframe for me. So let me hit the spacebar and watch. So in 6 seconds, the video goes back to normal size. Of course, if I wanted to, I couldn't make it keep zooming in or getting smaller. So if you want to re-edit a keyframe that's already laid down, what I would do is bring this back, hold on the shift key to snap to that keyframe. Even though it's already been set, you can re-edit the keyframe. So come back to that keyframe like I just did and push the video even smaller. So I'm going to grab the handle and hold on the shift key to constrain the proportions and bring the video even smaller, like so. Let go, and now the keyframe has been edited. So if I come back here to the beginning and hit the spacebar, as you can see, the video zooms all the way down there to that size. You notice it kind of sped up a little bit. That's because it's going pretty small, from very large to very small in 6 seconds. All right. So that's why there's a jump in speed there. The less time you give, so in other words, if you only give 2 seconds, 4 seconds, the faster the action will happen. The more time you give, the slower the action is. So if I move this here all the way out to say 14 seconds, the zoom in will be very, very slow. So this is 6 seconds. Now let's watch that again, but by moving this keyframe out to the 16 second mark. Let me get that right there on 16 seconds. Now I'm going to grab the keyframe and slide it all the way down here. Hold down the shift key and snap it. Now let's go back to the beginning and watch how slowly it zooms in now when I hit the space bar. So you notice a very slow zoom in. Okay. You got to see more of the video too, because the length of the video here is only 24 seconds. So not only do we see more of the video, but it does go slower. Right, so let me Command Z and get rid of all of that. All right, so that's scale. Okay, so we just covered position, scale, rotation. I'll show it to you folks, but as far as the video goes, it hardly happens. So Instead of rotating it here, what you're going to do is come over here to the rotation layer, and you notice as I hover over this second number here, my cursor turns to the finger with the double-sided arrow. If I left mouse click and drag, I spin the video. So negative, if your number turns negative, you're spinning counterclockwise, and if your number is positive, you're spinning it clockwise. And you can keep going around and around. Now, pay attention. Once I hit 360 degrees, in other words, a full turn, this counter on this side will start to go up by 1, 2, 3, one increments of 1. That's because you can set it so that you can spin 360 3 times if you wanted to. So you can tell After Effects to spin the video all the way around 3 times or 4 times or however many times this number reads. Okay, so watch as I spin the video around. Once I hit 360, this will go up by 1. And the counter starts over again. So you can keep going all the way. Once you hit 360, counter goes up by 2 and starts over. So if you want your video to keep spinning like so, you can, Let me go ahead and reset that. Okay. Usually with graphics, people tend to use rotation more than spinning the actual video. Now for opacity, you folks all know what opacity is. Basically, at 100%, you can see the full video. And if you hover over this number and left mouse click and drag, you can turn down opacity. Remember, the back of the video, let me go back up. The back of the video is black there. So of course, if you turn on the opacity of this layer, you're gonna see it become dark because black is the background. 0 is invisible and 100 is visible. So this is a good item to use when you're doing fade-ins and fade-outs. Let me demonstrate that for you now. Remember, before you start or you lay down your first keyframe, you want to manipulate the video to the starting point. For position, what I did was I moved the video here off to the left outside of frame. Then I clicked on a stopwatch. For scale, I resized the video by clicking here and made it big. Then I hit the stopwatch. For opacity, say if I want the video to fade in from total black to fade in, what I would do is turn down the opacity all the way to 0 first, then hit the keyframe to lay down my first keyframe, telling After Effects that I want the video to be totally transparent or invisible at the beginning of the video, and by 4 seconds, let's go with 4 seconds, I want the video to fade in. Okay, so now that I have my timeline indicator line on the 4-second mark, I'll come back here and left mouse click and drag, scrub all the way back to 100. So it'll take 4 seconds for the video to fade in. Excuse me. Okay, so if I hit the spacebar, and that's how you fade in a video. Now what if you want the video to fade out? Let's see if the video was only 12 seconds long. Oh, let's make it 16 seconds long. Okay, so I'm going to edit this video by grabbing the edge here. Hold down the shift key to snap the edge. Okay, so the video is now 16 seconds long. And just like the beginning here, where it faded in from black to the video, I want the video to fade out to black. So I'm gonna, since the fade in took 4 seconds, I want the fade out to take 4 seconds as well. So I'm gonna bring the timeline indicator to the 12-second mark here. And instead of hitting the stopwatch, remember the stopwatch is only for your initial keyframe, for your first keyframe. For your second keyframe, that was automatic by moving the numbers here, I guess. After Effects lay down a second keyframe. Now, to manually lay down your third keyframe, you're gonna hit the diamond here, or the diamond, and that manually adds a keyframe. Now drag your timeline, hold on the shift key, and it'll snap to the edge here of the video. And what you're going to do is, instead of hitting the keyframe again, all you got to do is move the opacity back to 0. And of course, After Effects adds a keyframe for you. So basically, you're telling After Effects, take my video from totally transparent to 100% transparent within the first 4 seconds. Then from the 4-second mark to the 12-second mark, I want it to stay at 100%, meaning fully visible. Then from the 12-second mark to the end of the video, the 16-second mark, I want a slow fade out. Okay, so let's see that again. Hit the spacebar, so you get the fade in to full 100% opacity, and then you will get the fade out. And that is how you do opacity. So this is good when you have multiple videos and you want to fade into another video and whatnot. All right. Now let me show you folks how to pair up multiple attributes together. So let's see here. What if I want it to fade in and it take 2 seconds instead of 4 seconds? So a 2-second fade in, a 2-second fade out. What I'll do is I'll move the time slide indicator here to the 2-second mark. I'll select that keyframe and I'll move it, left mouse click and drag to move it. Hold on the shift key, snap it here, and I want to move these 2 keyframes down. So yeah, from the 6-second mark here, I want to move this keyframe. Hold on the shift key to make it snap, and I'll move it over to the 8-second mark, because remember, 2 seconds for fade in, I want to match it 2 seconds to fade out. Let me grab this keyframe, hold on the shift key to snap it to the timeline. So this is going to be a real quick fade in, real quick fade out. At the same time, I want the video to move from off screen, on screen, back to off screen again. So the starting position is all the way at the beginning. I'm going to have the video come here. I'm holding down the shift key as I move it. Okay. Now remember, because I'm not working with the same layer, opacity layer. I'm working now with position. I have to set my first keyframe, like so. And I want the entire video to take let's see how long. I would say let's see what happens. Let's bring it to the 8-second mark here. And I want the video to move across the screen to this side, off screen, within 8 seconds. Okay, so now I have two attributes active. I have opacity, where it'll fade in and fade out, as well as the video moving across the screen at the same time. So let me hit the rewind button here, and now hit spacebar to play. So you get a real fast fade in and a fade out. It was a little too fast, huh? Maybe if we... Nah, I was thinking of moving this to the 4-second mark, but if we do that, then... Well, actually, what if we extend the video by 10 seconds? So what I'm going to do is move this here, move this here, and let's try it now. 4-second fade out, 4-second fade in, but the video takes 10 seconds to get across. So let's hit the space bar. So that's how it goes when you it's pretty fast fading. Yeah. Now, what if we wanted to add scale to that? We could do that as well. So if we wanted our starting video to, let me zoom out just a little bit more. Grab this here. Let me reset that. Scale, reset. I might have to move it a little bit more, so let me move this here. By me moving it a little bit more this way, it resets the position. So that's basically editing the keyframe for position. Now if I make it bigger, grab this here, hold on the shift key. Okay, now if I hit the stopwatch to set the first keyframe for scale and move it across to here, actually maybe at the 5-second mark or so. Let's make it really small. And then coming back out to this 10-second mark, we make it big again. Like maybe that big. And over here. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm gonna zoom back in, hit the spacebar. Okay, so you got 3 elements happening right there. You have opacity going from 0 to 100, back to 0. You have the video sliding across this way, and you have the scale or the size of the video going from big to small back to big again. Let me rewind that and hit play again. See, so all three elements are working at the same time because of the keyframes. All right. So that's how you work with keyframes, folks. Okay. Now, getting the timing of this down, it does take practice. It is a little bit difficult to do in the beginning. Just keep trying to work at it and getting the hang of setting keyframes and being able to move keyframes around. Okay. Now, let me reset everything here. Or actually, let me delete everything. So you can select multiple keyframes at the same time by drawing a selection box around it. Left mouse click, drag, hit delete, and then once more here, delete. I still have my three attributes selected. Right click, reset, so that all of them are reset at the same time. Let me move my video clip back out to here. Now we got a fresh video to work with. Okay, so let me close that up. Quick one. By the way, if this had audio, this is where you could edit the audio. Unfortunately, we don't have, I don't believe we have audio on here. Let me try. Crank it up. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have audio on here. Reset that. Let's close that up for now. Let me show you folks how to work two videos together. So I'm gonna grab the fireworks video, slap that on here. Now the fireworks video is shorter than the jump video, so I'm going to rearrange the layers here by grabbing the fireworks video, left mouse click and dragging it upwards. You see the blue line here on the layers section. I'm going to move it up. So by moving it up, I put it above the jump video. As you can see, the original size of the fireworks video is way larger than the viewable area. So of course you can't see the jump video in the back. But if I grab the video here and move it, you see the jump video in the back. So let me open up the attributes for it, and for position reset. Now I want the video, I'm resizing the video right now to be about as big as the viewable area. I'm gonna hit the scale stopwatch to set a keyframe. Now if I don't add any more keyframes, then this will just stay this size for the entire length of the video. And that's what I plan to do basically. The only thing I want to do for this video is probably to have it fade out. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll shorten the length of this video. I only wanted to play, let's say, for 10 seconds. 10 seconds and then, or 12 seconds. I wanted to play for 12 seconds and fade out all the way by the 12-second mark. So let's shorten the video, putting my timeline indicator on the 12-second mark, grabbing this edge of the video and sliding it down. Hold down the shift key, snap, and let's go back to opacity here, back to the beginning. I'm going to set a keyframe from here Remember, we're not doing any fade-ins. It's already showing. All I wanted to do is a fade out. So remember before we wanted it to fade in and then fade out again. So we had to do 2 sets of keyframes. With this one, I'm just telling After Effects. Well, actually, I don't think we even need this keyframe because it's already at 100% opacity, meaning it's fully visible. All you have to do is actually go to wherever you want the fade out to start. For me, I want it to start at the 8-second mark and take 4 seconds to fade out totally. So I'm gonna set my keyframe there. Come to the 12-second mark. Remember to snap to the edge. Move this and hold down the shift key. And now move this all the way down to 0. Or you can just click once and type 0. Hit enter. And of course now, because it's fully invisible, you can now see the bottom video, which is the jump video. So let's rewind that and hit play or spacebar. So you got the fireworks playing. The line is almost reaching 8 seconds. Gonna start to fade out. See the other video underneath. And there you go. Now, what if we wanted the fireworks video to come back in after he lands and have the fireworks video fade back in? We can't. Why? Because for one thing, we shortened the video down to 12 seconds. And even if it was all the way up to the 19-second mark, yeah, we could make it start to fade back in, but it would only be there for what, about a second, and it would be totally black again, because that's the 19 seconds is the length of the entire fireworks video. I would have to pull in another fireworks video and have it start from this point to the end and have that fade out as well. See, so you folks got to keep all of that kind of stuff in mind when you know, you're editing the videos and whatnot. Okay, so we've covered pretty much everything you need to know for now for this portion of learning how to manipulate the videos. So go ahead and practice with that, and I'll show you folks a bit more of these other items in the next video. Okay, folks?